Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite people. I feel close to this guy because years and years ago on MMAfreak.com, on Twitter you can find him at MMA Freakout. They used to have a podcast and I was a co-host of it. It was me and Ben McPhee. And I actually reached out to Kevin Lee, the Motown Phenom back then, and he came on our show not once but twice and killed it. Crushed it. I had such a great time interviewing him, meeting him, and getting to know him. Now, this was years ago, pre-UFC. So I've been riding with this dude forever. So today, I want to kind of break it down a little bit. If you don't mind, follow me. Let's go back. Fuchsia says, Buddha says, somebody smarter than me says, a fool learns by others' mistakes. No. A fool learns by his own mistake, but a wise man can learn from the mistakes of others. The truth has to be said when it comes to advice. And Rogan's got the Midas touch. I mean, it's almost like become friends with Joe Rogan, rich and famous. I.e. Brendan Schaub. Love Brendan Schaub. But really, become friends with Rogan, rich and famous. He's like hitting the lottery. Being friends with Joe Rogan is like hitting the lottery. He gave Kevin Lee some advice because he said he saw similarities in GSP. It says you need to be training with Faraz Zahabi in Montreal. Shall I say Montreal? He took the advice. And did it seem to pay off. That head kick. When I think about it. The only celebration Kevin Lee should have done with that head kick was run over to him as fast as he can and go, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Kevin Lee killed a guy. Yeah. Woo! Kevin Lee destroys Edson Barboza. He goes through Edson Barboza like a hot knife goes through butter. Anyone who watched that fight knows how amazing he looked in destroying Edson Barboza. His stand-up looked great. His wrestling was incredible. Don't forget, this guy was a D2 wrestler, Division 2. Yeah, I mean, you can't mess with that. Amazing. He just looked sick. He got his rematch with Ayala Quinta and got beat. Man, sometimes people just have your number. And it would appear Al Iaquinta just has his number. Al Iaquinta's a tough guy, though. I mean, he fought Khabib. So, it didn't look terrible doing it. Like everybody else does. So, I don't know. Yeah. And then he fights Rafael Dos Anjos and loses. So he loses to Ferguson. He beats Barbosa. Then he loses and he loses. So he's on a 2-fight losing streak and he goes on the Joe Rogan Experience. And that's where he got that advice. And thank Joe Rogan. Thank himself for listening. And thank you for Faraz Zahabi. Because we know what's coming up next. Just kicks Gregor Gillespie to sleep. Literally, kicked him to sleep. That sounds like an awesome threat you would say to someone, but would never have the skill or the ability to do. But be like, "I'll kick you to sleep." He did. And he looked good doing it. What a decorated wrestler. And to head kick someone. Reminds me of Rashad Evans when he kicked Sean Salmon in the head. You guys remember that? Wrestler. Maybe from Michigan too. Both of them are Michigan boys now. Wrestled at Michigan at least. Yeah, anyways. Wrestler, head kick someone out. There's a connection. Kevin Lee and Rashad Evans. The first 2 times I talked to Kevin Lee, he was still living in Detroit. He was going to college, and he was fighting amateur. I believe that's what it was. Maybe just a couple fights pre-UFC too. But that's how long ago this was, guys. He was big on Twitter, calling out, get me to the UFC. I deserve to be there. I belong there. And he was right. But he moved to Las Vegas, which I thought was really strange. And it says he trained with Extreme Couture, which that would have been a really cool decision to make in 2005. In 2012, I think, is when he did it. I'm not sure that was the best camp to go to then. What do I know? I've never been to a camp. I'm not a professional fighter. It's just not who I would have went to. But nevertheless, he went to Vegas. And I think he trained some hands with the Mayweathers, if I'm not mistaken. And he may have prepped Floyd to get ready for Conor. That's some rumor mill stuff going around. But anyway, so I think he trained hands with the Mayweathers, and he did this MMA with Extreme Couture. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. But man, that move to Faraz Zahabi seemed perfect. In 2012, that's where I would have went. Or I would have went to Albuquerque or Southern Florida. There's so many other places I would have went other than Las Vegas. But you live, you learn, you listen to Joe Rogan, you take his advice, and then you kill a guy in the ring named Gregor Gillespie. He thought he was in there with Conor McGregor. He was making a point. And buddy, we heard you. Point well made. Kevin Lee is 18-5 in his professional mixed martial arts career. So I definitely knew him when he was a pro. I definitely knew him just before the UFC. What's going to come next from Kevin Lee? At this camp, the right people around him, the sky's the limit for this kid. Keep your eyes out. He's got this flashy persona that he's picked up, and I really, really love it. And maybe that's truly him. I hope so. I like it. Remember when he was rocking the same clothes that Russell Westbrook was wearing? So, I live in Oklahoma. Russell Westbrook was the point guard for the Thunder. And he would come to his press conference pretty much wearing the exact same clothes that Russell Westbrook was wearing at a press conference for basketball. Anyways, I thought it was dope. And he picked up this like cocky kid attitude. And I think it sold. It got people interested in him. It got people wanting to find out more about him. I really think it was the right decision for him. But when I had him on the podcast, he was just a young kid. He was humble. He was soft-spoken. He was quiet. God, but he's got everything to become a champion. I remember in a podcast, if we could dig those links up and maybe link him on Twitter, he said that people used to compare his body to Benson Henderson. And good God, did he not look like Benson Henderson? He is ripped. He's got everything to be a star. He's got the skill set. He's got the mouth, talking. He can bump them gums with the best of them. And he's a good-looking guy. He's bodied up, handsome kid. And he's 27 years old. Where can he only go? There's no ceiling for this kid. Think about it. 27, good-looking, built like a G.I. Joe, well-spoken, confident, well-dressed. What is he, the new Conor McGregor? The Conor McGregor that's actually going to be active? That's actually going to put in the work? I can't go on about this kid enough. I mean, I interviewed him. At the time, I wanted to be a journalist. I was working for the website. I'm not supposed to be biased. I was biased. I really was, because I liked him so much from our interviews. Had him on twice. I liked him so much. The kid was so cool to me. Man, he was such a great guy. When he came in the UFC, I've just been riding on him hard ever since. And I felt really, really compelled to make this video. Don't sleep on Kevin Lee, or he'll put you to sleep. You don't want that. You sure don't want to be wrestled by him. You ain't ready for D2 wrestling, baby. You ain't ready. Neither is the UFC guys. That about takes up my time for the day. Thank you guys for tuning back in. You know what really helps? It helps when you subscribe and when you hit the like button. Even whenever you leave a comment. So do those 3 things for me. Thank you. Also, if you like the thumbnail, you know to check out my boy Brian on Twitter. Link in the bio. Follow me on Twitter. On Instagram. Link in the bio. Hey guys, really, thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. Keep your eye on Kevin Lee.